All right, Christine and Cobalt. A couple various items here. So check the job notes, see what she accepts, if everything or not. Front and backyard. So starting back here, so the first item will be weeding of this rock landscape bed around the fire pit. You'll see there's like a plastic rock kind of border going around. Kind of can't see it, but it's going there. And then this whole area is just overgrown with weeds. She has stone. There is fabric underneath it, but I guess it's coming up through it. So, just be the labor-intensive work of hand weeding out the entire area, and then I would sprinkle some preen and then spray it really good. And when you do spray, just be very careful of overspray. We don't want to get in her grass. So if you're spraying right here, just get really, really close to the stone when you spray it, so there's no overspray. And then whatever, this area, just like douse it in spray, but after you weed it out. So that's one. Two would be cleanup of the growth along her fence line. So, and I told her, it's not going to be perfect because it's extremely difficult to get back there. She's fully aware. She was really cool. So what I would say is, I told her what we can do, because it seems like in a lot of areas the fence is kind of light down here. And she said she doesn't care what you do to her fence, like whatever you got to do. If you bust it up, she's probably going to be pulling it down eventually at some point. But what we could do is just lift up, like right in here. One person kind of lifted up, the other person kind of just like, hit it out with their hands, or if you probably won't be able to string trim it, because I don't want to jack up that fence with a string trimmer. That wood's like kind of older, and then my fear is that you'd be smacking the fence. Whatever you got to do, but just clear out the growth grown between the fences the best you can. Some areas I know you may not be able to get to it, but do everything you can to try to pull it up and clear it out. She has her son's first birthday party at the house in like a month, so she's trying to get things kind of cleaned up for it. So anyway, so clear out the growth the best you can here. I was gonna say spray it, but I'm actually thinking about it. Maybe don't spray it, because I'm a little nervous of over spray getting into her yard, and then she has a big brown strip here. But if you feel confident that you could get in like overspray really close to the fence line, like just in between here, again, you'd have to get the thing really into the ground so that we don't overspray into her yard. Go for it. But other than that, I would just clear it out. Once you get to here, there's not a double fence, so she said this is all cool. She don't mind the ivy growing on the fence. What you could do though is take a string trimmer, just turn it kind of like sideways and just give it like a manicured, just the stuff that's really growing way into the yard, just to give it get it more flush with the yard or with the fence. So that'll take like 2 seconds here, and clean up the choppings. This area back here, so price today will be probably just like clear out the area of the growth, even if you just string trim it, rake out the pine needles, trying to get it cleaned up a little bit. But I'm going to price her for in the fall, clearing this whole area out, bringing topsoil starter for hay and seed in this area for the fall. She can't get any plants to grow there, so we'll try seed, and noting for myself, do a shade mix. All right, this area, so it used to be a mulch bed, it's now just overtaken with the grass. So she basically just like pull this out and then clear this out, and then you're just going to cut this out and string trim this funky growth, and then just leave it. She just wants it to all be grass at this point, so you can leave that alone. We didn't talk about this one. I don't know if you wanted to upsell this on the spot. I just noticed a small little mulch bed here, but probably nothing. Probably don't worry about it. All right. Then moving to the front. All right, so first thing we'll do, I'll price her on, is clean up of her sidewalks and like the cracks here. So you can do your typical like first cut thing where you string trim all the cracks growing here, all the growth in between the cracks, really hook her up. You're gonna need some trash cans and such. Clean this all up. You'll probably get a nice before and after, honestly, this one, of the cracks and stuff. But clean all this up, all the way to her property line, which ends down there a little bit. But anyway, clean up of all the cracks, and then the big part will be edging. So She's got that azoia, so it's creeping really bad. What you're gonna need to do, it's probably a good, like that whole spot, that sidewalk probably goes to about there. And then you can kind of see it here. It goes pretty far. So it's gonna take a minute for sure. But what you would do is take that edger, not the bed edger, not the one that attaches to the Echo, you know what I'm talking about, the square edge one. So use that to give a good cut. You have to go probably back and forth a handful of times to really cut it out. It's the one that we never use really, but use that to cut it out. You also use, once that's cut, the best way I've found to do it is take a straight edge shovel, and then like you can chop it under here, and that thing will peel like a carpet all the way down on both sides. So once you peel it one time, you probably have to even hit it again, you know, and maybe a time after that. What's a little tough is you don't want to go too far, because then you don't want a big gap between the sidewalk and the grass. So you have to kind of really use your judgment on the spot where you're going to cut. You know, even if you took a straight edge shovel first to kind of line it up, and then you come in with that edger and cut it. But anyway, and then when you're done, I would take a string trimmer and really give it a nice defined clean up. So clean up the sidewalks. I would do the same thing along this side of the driveway. This side, probably just a string trimmer is fine. It's not really thick. It's not as thick of grass as this. And then even do it up here along the walkway. So, and then string trim out all the growth, and you can even spray a little bit. I would say maybe a little bit on the cracks here, and then the crack between the sidewalk and the street you could spray. Don't spray in here. I don't want to kill out our grass. All right, and then the other portion, the last portion of work, would be just typical up here. Just weed out all here. No trimming or anything, but just weed them all out. Fresh mulch. Read all this out, fresh mulch. And then this area, weed it out. So this will be a little bit of work. So what you'll have to do here, so you can see this grass again, it's really creeping into the beds. So we'll have to remove this stone first, then dig out this grass that's grown in the mulch bed, get rid of that, then take your bed edger or whatever, or even a shovel, whatever's easier. It's a little bit of a tight turn. And give her a nice deep edge here, and then put the stone back, and then mulch the whole area. So, and then you got some weed growth. You got that weed you can pull out, and then the plants, leave them alone. That plant, there's 3 of them, and then those 2 shrubs, leave them alone. No trimming or anything. Yeah, and that's it.